Welcome back to the Cozy Cottage Homestead. Today I'm just going to be making a simple beef stew for supper. Not necessarily going to go through every little step. Just cooking from scratch. Using some fresh organic carrots. I hardly ever use the baby carrots. Unless they're baby carrots grown from our own garden. These were store-bought. Probably not going to be doing a lot of talking on this one. Just showing y'all how I prepare some meals. So let's see. We're going to do 6 large carrots. We're going to make us up a big old pot of stew. Beef stew. Although I could do rabbit stew. So I think I'm wanting beef stew today. It's kind of a yucky rainy day. Probably just about all of our cold weather here in the south is just about gone. We do have another little cool front coming. But I can tell you it's been nice. No heater, no air conditioner. Absolutely been perfect. Temperature's been great. Don't look forward to all the hot humidity. So we have some carrots there. The piggies are going to love to eat these scraps. Let me see what I need to get. Get me a couple of bowls so I can chop everything up. We have some celery here. I'm going to talk about celery here before too long. How easy it is to regrow store-bought celery, which is how I usually get my celery started. And yes, I use the leaves, the whole little tree celery in my stew. Can't see letting that go to waste. I also freeze those celery tops for parsley. It tastes just about the same and it works just as good as parsley. You know, I was going to make one of those videos where I just do a little homemaking, cooking in the kitchen and play some of that music to it, but they are so strict on the rules with the music, and I have not purchased any of the music. I'm trying to keep it as frugal as possible. So right now you hear a lovely sound. That's my Labradoodle drinking some water. So who knows, later on maybe I'll subscribe to some music. I've tried some free music. It doesn't put a strike against my channel, but it does have like a warning type thing. They don't give you a strike, but they won't monetize it, because if someone shares it off of YouTube, then you could get in trouble for that, and they have no way of controlling that. So what they do is just don't monetize, which makes absolutely no sense. The music that I've been trying to use on my editing program says that it's free to use, and it has access to live internet. So it upgrades all the time, and it's supposed to be free, but it's not free. So I don't want to get any strikes on my channel. So I probably won't be adding too much music unless I can figure it out a little better. But that was about 6 stalks of our celery. And now we have our carrot. It's already been peeled. I'm going to cut it in big chunks because it is for our stew. I'm just like prepping, getting everything ready. Just thought I'd bring you along. Hadn't been feeling the best. It's been yucky and rainy. And I tell you, that rainy weather makes me feel horrible. Really makes it hard for me to get going, doing things with arthritis and all the other problems that I have that I deal with. But nevertheless, people still going to want to eat supper, right? So, the Lord just gives me strength, and I keep going. Although last night my husband cooked us some supper, and it was really good. He knew I was just feeling horrible. So he grilled up some chicken, or pan fried some chicken, I guess you could say. Chicken breast. And he done some mashed potatoes. And I'm trying to think, what vegetable did he do? My memory is not as good as it used to be. I'm having some really serious problems going on with my thyroid right now. And it really, really messes with a lot of different functions in your body. It makes you forgetful. Don't sleep very well. You want to sleep, you're tired. And there's no prescription out there that will help it. The sleep part, that is. Tried different home remedies, different things, but until I get on some thyroid type of medicine, I'm going to have some struggles. It almost feels like you're having menopause, hot flashes, and sleep problems. It all seems like about the same thing, but it's not. And I am premenopausal, but my thyroid is giving me problems. And for those that's been following me, you know I only have half of a thyroid. One half got damaged, had to be removed. So I think I'm going to move y'all around and get started with the next step. We have our beef already defrosted, so I will get back to the next step and bring y'all right back. So just to get y'all rearranged there a little bit. It's a very small house. I haven't disclosed how small it is yet, but been talking to a new friend that lives in a really small house. Me and her have really hit it off. Just an amazing person. I'll probably give her a shout out pretty soon, so y'all can go see how lovely she is as well. Very old-fashioned Christian lady, modest, unbelievable. The stuff that she shares about bringing back the old ways, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm just going to be cooking and talking a little bit because I don't really, most people know how to make beef stew, but you know, we all do a little different. Got some lard. Drop that in there. And we're going to put our stew meat down in there. I know, freestyle cooking, but somebody might enjoy it. That was 1 pound of the beef. And let's find us a spoon. Y'all probably won't be able to see inside the pot, but you'll get to see what I'm doing. I'll bring you in closer at some point to show y'all what it's looking like. Some of this looks like it's pretty big, so I'll probably pull some of this out and cut it a little bit smaller. I think we'll do that. Let's just get a little plate. I only have a couple of cupboards, so we won't want to get it all messy. Get a couple of these big chunks out, because that would make about like three or four bites right there. That's a big old piece of beef. Sometimes they don't cut it small enough. If I catch it when I first put it up, I usually go ahead and cut it smaller. But there are days that I don't feel like worrying with it, so I don't. Not the sharpest knife, but if I have a sharp knife, I'll probably hurt myself. And I know, I can hear some of y'all saying, oh, a dull knife will hurt you worse than a sharp one will. If y'all only knew how bad the nerve damage was in my hands, you'd probably be quite surprised that I do as good as I do. Pure determination. That's all I can say it is. Being obedient to the Lord, trying to be who God wants me to be. And you know, you never arrive. Some people believe you finally get there. Well, you finally get there when you meet your Maker. We won't know that until we get there. So every day is a learning process. Every day you strive to do a little more. Every day He gives us a new day to walk with Him, to trust Him, obey Him, and do His will, because that's what brings Him glory. So I'm just kind of browning it in the lard, just to get a little browned around the edges, and then I'll start throwing the rest of the stuff in the pot. Beef stew is so easy to make homemade, y'all. We also like to can it. Just haven't been feeling like making a big batch to can. Canned beef stew does a wonderful, especially on days that you don't feel like cooking. All you have to do is put you some rice on, make you some biscuits, cornbread, and you have a really quick meal. By the time the biscuits or the cornbread gets done baking, your rice will be done, and you'll be ready to eat. All you got to do is heat it up, and you're ready to go. So what are some other things that I like to can that are meals? I like to do the beef stew. That's always good, canned. And we like to can our chili. I'll make a big, using like 5 pounds of either red beans or both, red beans and pinto beans, and mix them and make a whole bunch of chili and can it. And it'll last us for the whole year. And beef stew the same way. I probably make about I think it's around 30 something quarts of each. Can't remember exactly. It's been a while since we've done it. I think we just used up our last can of fresh home cooked chili that we had canned. So, and I don't like the canned spaghetti sauce because it's easy for me to make spaghetti sauce, and I just make that myself. It's easy to do, but it is something that we've thought about canning with spaghetti sauce with the meat. But generally, spaghetti doesn't take that long to cook, especially from scratch. It takes the longest to cut up all of your bell peppers and onions and garlic and celery and stuff like that. So this is getting browned up pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and put my celery in there. It seems like a lot of celery, but it's stew. Celery is good for you. So we do enjoy putting a lot of celery in there. Now I'm going to put probably about 3 cups of water. And that's just to get started. Of course, I'm probably going to add more later. And what I usually do is just let that cook for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll add another cup or two of water. Then I'll add the carrots, because carrots are going to take a while for them to cook down. But I still do have to peel up my potatoes and get them in here. Potatoes are always the last thing I put in so that they're not all mushy. I am going to put a couple of, if I can reach it, beef bouillon cubes. We're going to do 3. That's what I had left. So I guess that's how many I'm putting. Of course I have some more, but that's what I have right here on the shelf in the kitchen. And that's just going to bring out that beef flavor even more. And it's going to add some salt to it. So don't over salt your stew. Always make sure you taste it. Make sure it's not too salty. Okay, so now we're going to cut us some of our potatoes. We're going to peel these potatoes first. Boy, Miss Molly and those little piglets are going to be so happy. Going to have some peelings from the potatoes, from the carrots. They're going to be getting a really happy treat. And I usually peel them and then rinse them off again. So that's what I'm going to do. Just going to peel them. And I think I have 6 potatoes for the amount of stew that we're going to make. Rinse off the potatoes, rinse off my cupboard. And we're just going to cut up these potatoes, rinse off that carrot off of that. Yes, I use the same knife if I'm cutting vegetables. I had another knife that was just like this for the meat. So I'm just going to make them pretty big pieces because we like chunks in there. So I cut it in half, cut it in half again, and then just make some pretty decent sized chunks. Let's see, 1, 2, about 3, about 4 cuts. Makes a decent little chunk. No right way or no wrong way to cut a potato, right? This depends on how big of pieces of tater you want in your stew. I try to make everything pretty hearty, so you know you're getting a bite of tater. No, my taters is not going to fit in that little bowl. But that's okay. We'll find another one. Let's get one more bowl. It's going to be a different bowl. That's alright. We got 2 taters left. Looks like a bunch of taters, but that's what it's going to take to make it. Now I think we have everything chopped up. I'll move y'all around by the stove. Alrighty, this is looking good, smelling good. It's been cooking probably about 10 minutes. We'll say a couple minutes, but it took me more than a couple minutes to chop up those taters. So the next thing that I will add, it cooked down, so I'm going to add 2 more cups of water. And that's why I say there's hardly no recipes. And whenever I make videos with recipes, I have to really take my time and remember everything that I do and share that with y'all, because sometimes I forget. So, just have to watch the whole video if you want to make stew like how I make stew. It's very simple, very easy. Cooking from scratch is easy, and it doesn't really take a rocket scientist, and it just is so much healthier. And just, you know, being a homemaker and taking care of your family, cooking from scratch, knowing they're getting some good, fresh, wholesome food that's all fresh ingredients, you know, and you know what's in it. I mean, it's just, it's old-timey, it's the old ways. I get it. Some people don't have time for that, but, you know, some of us are trying to bring back the old ways and remembering the way things were when the woman was there to take care of her husband, and the husband was there proudly working hard to take care of his family and providing for his family, and everybody just works together as a team in harmony, which is the way the Lord wants it to be. I'm just adding the carrots a little bit at a time so it doesn't splash me. I'm going to give this a stir. And it's looking really good. Now I'm going to have to let this cook for about another 15-20 minutes or so. And then I'm going to add my potatoes. We already have those all ready to go. And then once I add the potatoes, I'm just going to tell you how I do the rest of it, because I know this video is running a little long. I think it's running long. I don't really know. Can't tell how long it's been playing. But so all I'm going to do is make some brown gravy after I put the potatoes in. And then I'll add the brown gravy, let it simmer down for another 10 or 15 minutes. Cook us up some rice and probably some biscuits. And that's what we're going to be having tonight on the homestead. Some beef stew, very simple, just a very good comfort food on a yucky rainy day. So that's all there is to this meal. Very simple. Enjoy your time. Don't rush it. Take your time. Cook stuff in steps. And just enjoy being a housewife and keeper of the home, you know. And just make the best of it. Sometimes it seems like just mundane and the same old over and over and over. But rejoice in that and be glad in that. That is what the Lord called you to do, you know. Don't take it for granted. I'm sure there are many of women that wish they could just come home and be home and take care of their own children and cook some home-cooked meals. So don't ever take what you think is just plain and ordinary as just not important, because it is very important. And a lot of people, you know, don't have that privilege to be at home and take care of the home. And they're in a position where they have to work, and that happens, you know. So don't ever think what you're doing in life isn't important, because it is important, and it's important to God, and that's all that really matters. So thanks for joining me today. I know it wasn't a complete video on my entire meal, but I want to keep the video kind of reasonable length, and I can't see how long it's been playing, so forgive me for that if it went too long. But if you want to know how to make it, I'll give you more details. Just email me. I have no problem with that. So thanks for joining me today. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Thanks for leaving comments. Y'all all leave the friendliest, best comments. And absolutely just am amazed that there are so many good folks still out there and that know how to be mature adults. Just wonderful meeting and finding more and more like-minded Christians that are old-fashioned, keeping the old ways alive, and it's just been a blessing for me. It's been very encouraging and inspiring and very helpful for me too, to share my life and to know that there's other people out there that do live the same way. You know, sometimes you just have to get outside of your comfort zone, and the Lord will put these people in your path, and I've seen that happen over and over and over and over again. It's just been amazing. So that's all. So farewell, Homestead family, friends, and neighbors from the Cozy Cottage Homestead. Now it is just about time to eat our supper. This is how the beef stew turned out. It looks absolutely delicious. I know it is. Wish I could smell it. It smells so good. So just want to thank y'all for hanging out with me today, spending some time with me. And I want to show you some of the biscuits. Of course, we ate a couple already. We had to have an appetizer, right? Homemade biscuits, hot from the oven. Yeah, I don't think I could wait. So we did smaller biscuits with stew, since we enjoy it with the stew. And of course, rice. Y'all know what rice looks like. But homemade biscuits. And we have our stew. So tonight for supper, it doesn't have to be just plain old mundane. Pull out some really nice dishes. Switch stuff up a little bit. Cut those cell phones off. Cut the television off. Try something new. Gather around the dinner table. Eat supper together. We always eat supper together. We always have some good adult conversation. Talking about our day. Talking about church. Talking about YouTube channels that we like and we enjoy. So do something different. Cut off those televisions. Set the tone and make it more relaxable and more enjoyable. Get you a dinner bell. Ring the dinner bell. Instead of texting those kids in their bedroom telling them it's time to eat supper, ring that dinner bell and tell them to come and get it. And everyone sit around the table, say a prayer, thank the Lord for your day and your food, and just have a wonderful conversation with family or friends or neighbors. So try something different. It doesn't have to just be plain and ordinary and everybody's eating here and everybody's eating there. You're the housewife or the homekeeper, however you want to say it. Set the tone. You're the mother. Tonight we're going to eat supper at the table. Cut off the cell phones, cut off the TV. You'd actually be quite surprised. Children actually look forward to hearing that bell ringing every night for supper and getting to spend some quality time in conversation with their parents or with their family or loved ones. So try it. So thanks for joining me today and spending time with me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks to all of my subscribers and I'd like to welcome all of my new subscribers. So farewell, Homestead family, friends, and neighbors from the Cozy Cottage Homestead.